Hello YouTube, this is Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales, and welcome to episode 3 of T&O Thoughts and Opinion vlogging series that I'm doing on my channel. And I don't have to say too much apart from this, because finally we have done it as a nation. We have got to our first major football championship since 1958. It's been a long time coming, and I wanted to dedicate this episode because it's happened quite recently, and it's something I've been following all the way through. Something that means a lot to me. I'm a massive football fan, as you can tell from all the football rated content and all the FIFA content that I've been doing lately on my channel. And yeah, I'm going to bring up a little bit about my history in today's episode of following the Welsh national football team, and a little bit about the history of the Welsh national football team in general. So, like I said, this was the first time since 1958 Wales have qualified for a football championship. The World Cup is the only thing we've ever qualified for officially. 1958, it was in Sweden. We got to the quarter-final of the World Cup where a very young Pelé, who is considered to be one of the best players ever, scored against Wales, his first ever World Cup goal, and the rest is history. Brazil went on to win the World Cup. Pelé made a name for himself and became one of the greatest players of all time. So we do play a little bit of a historical part in Pelé's history there, and he plays a bit of a historical part, pardon me, in our history. And we haven't done anything since then. We've never qualified for a World Cup since 1958. 1976, we got to the quarter-final of the European Championships. Unfortunately, it didn't count as an official tournament back then. Only the semi-finals onward counted as the tournament. So we were screwed over by the way the tournaments were done. It wasn't until sort of the late 80s that they started to add more teams, and we had the groups and stuff, and it became more of an actual sort of competition. But yeah, we've come close on many occasions to qualifying for things. In 1992, Paul Bowden missed a penalty, and Wales, who had a chance to win at home to qualify for the 93, had a chance to qualify for the 1994 World Cup in USA, in America, and unfortunately we missed out yet again. Then a little bit nearer to my time, this is when I sort of started following the Welsh football team. It was about 2000, 2001 I started watching Wales and going to Wales games. And me and my father, we went to the Millennium Stadium on a regular basis. We saw Wales versus Armenia, which was a 0-0 draw. It was a really boring match, to be honest with you, but I didn't care. I was like 10, I was like 9, 10, whatever I was back then. I was just enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the football that we saw. We played Belarus. I can remember we beat Belarus 1-0, and John Hartson scored a diving header, and I was sort of sitting level to where the goals was, so I could see the header perfectly. And the Millennium Stadium, you know, it's a very big stadium. It's like 75,000 seater stadium. It's one of the best and biggest stadiums in Europe. So you know, it was phenomenal for me. I was like 9, 10 at the time, like, oh, this is so cool, you know what I mean? I went on to see them play Finland, Serbia, and Montenegro. We followed them pretty much nearly every home game in the qualifiers, and then they played sort of Germany in a friendly, beat Germany in a friendly. This is back now in sort of 2002, 2003, and they moved on then from the World Cup qualifiers of 2002 to the European qualifiers 2004, which like I said was sort of 2002, 2003, and we had Italy. We had a fantastic win over Italy. We beat them 2-1 at the Millennium Stadium in probably one of the greatest games in the last decade, or well, 20 years or so now in Welsh football. One of our biggest wins. Italy at the time were just a massive footballing nation with Buffon, Cannavaro, Gennaro Gattuso, Andrea Pirlo, Christian Vieri, Inzaghi. They had Zambrotta. You know, they had class in every position, and we beat them 2-1. And unfortunately for us in that qualifying campaign, we did win a few more matches. I think we lost to Serbia twice, but we beat Finland and drew with them away. We beat Azerbaijan twice, and I can't remember who else was in the group. But anyway, we finished second in the group, which meant that we had a playoff place, and the playoffs was against Russia. We drew away against Russia 0-0, which was a fantastic result because Russia are considered to be the bigger and better footballing nation than us, and it's true. They got massive teams that play in the Champions League, like Zenit St. Petersburg, you know, and it's just one of those things. We played them at home at the Millennium Stadium, and we lost 1-0, unfortunately, and that was it. It was heartbreak. It was the playoff, our best chance. I was nearly in tears watching this game with my father. It was hard to take, and that's what it's been like following the Welsh national team in football. We've always come so close, and yet it's just been taken away from us. And I can remember I was feeling quite angry because there was this kind of drugs case with the Russian player Igor Titov, who apparently he had missed his drugs test or had failed his drug test in the away leg the previous week. And we all thought that they're gonna get knocked out of the tournament and we are gonna take their place. That's what we were hoping for anyway, because we were like the aggrieving kind of team, the team that was offended by it. But I think he had like a £5,000 fine, and I think he was suspended for like 10 internationals or something. So yeah, we we felt hard done by. But at the end of the day, they beat us over the course of 2 legs. They beat us, and we didn't qualify, and we were gutted. We were so gutted. And then after that, we kind of had a dark few years in Welsh football. Lots of our star names from that time, from that era. People like sort of John Hartson, Ryan Giggs, Robbie Savage, Mark Pembridge, Mark Delaney. They were starting to retire. They were starting to get old. Gary Speed, another one. Simon Davis, and a new kind of crop of Welsh players started to be blooded in. We had a young Chris Gunter, who now has like 60 caps for Wales. We had sort of Ashley Williams, James Collins, thrown in. Well, James Collins not so much back then. He was already part of the team. But we had Neil Taylor. We had sort of people like that. Gareth Bale, a very young Gareth Bale, playing for Wales in like 2007, 2008. So it's we had to blood a lot of young players in, unfortunately. And even though we still had a couple of experienced players in that squad, we had Craig Bellamy still, although Craig Bellamy's legs were starting to give way, and he eventually retired a few years ago. But because we threw those youngsters in, they went through quite a lot of hammerings. They suffered some of the worst defeats in Welsh football in history. Yet they got through it. It probably made them a better player because of it. And we've now got a very talented squad of players. We've got Gareth Bale, who plays for Real Madrid. He is the most expensive footballer in world football. Now, you can talk about transfer fees. You can talk about does he deserve to be it? Does he deserve to be? Doesn't he deserve to be? That's terrible English again, and Welsh anyway. So, but at the end of the day, he's up there as one of the best players in the world football. He's on most people's top 5 footballers list. You think of Ronaldo and Messi. You think of sort of Neymar, Luis Suarez, and then perhaps Gareth Bale. That's probably arguably your top 5. And, he's up there. He's won stuff with Real Madrid. He's won the Champions League. He's won the Spanish Cup with them. He's going to win more with them as well, hopefully, this season and in seasons to come. He's one of the best footballers in the world. You've got Aaron Ramsey, one of the best footballers in the Premier League, arguably at the moment. Certainly been Arsenal's best player, in my opinion, over the past couple of seasons. He won them that FA Cup a couple of years ago. Almost, well, not, I wouldn't say on his own, but he was a big influence on that FA Cup final, and he was man of the match deservedly. You've got players like Ashley Williams and Neil Taylor who've become a rock at the back for Wales, who've become experienced Premier League defenders. You've got Wayne Hennessy, who isn't even a regular in the Crystal Palace team, yet he turns up for Wales all the time and puts in magnificent performances for them. So there have been so many positives in this Welsh football team, and it's just been the blood in and the fruition of everything just coming together. You know what I mean? You've got your kind of world-class talent, your experienced heads who were thrown in as youngsters a few years ago, had to go through dark times, but like I said, have grown because of it. And now we are going to be playing in France 2016, the European Championships. Wales are going to be there. And we're going to be up there with the Italys and the Germanys and the Englands. France, all the top nations in Europe are going to be there. And we got a chance to play and show the world how much, what they've been missing. We've got this talent in Wales, because Wales is a small country. We've only got a few million people. We're going to be one of the smallest nations in the championship when you consider the big heavyweight nations that I previously mentioned. We're going to be one of the smallest nations in this championship. Yet we got a chance to show the world that we can play football. Are we going to win the championship? Well, we can believe. We're a nation of believers. I personally don't think we will. But I certainly think, we can perhaps get to the knockout stage and just take it one game at a time like we've been doing. That's what we've been doing. We played the Andorra game in the first qualifying game of this campaign. We went 1-0 down and everybody thought, oh, not again, it's going to be another dark campaign. But we fought back and we just took it one game at a time. And now we have, the chance to show the world how good a football nation we are. Because we've produced some of the best football players in British football, arguably, over the past few years. Well, a few years, I say sort of 20 to 30 years. Liverpool's all-time greatest goal scorer is Ian Rush. He scored something like 365 goals, I think it was, for Liverpool. Record goal scorer. Yet he never played in a major championship, international football. Neville Southall, arguably one of the best goalkeepers to play in the top division in English football. Up there on a regular basis with Pat Jennings and Peter Shilton, Gordon Banks, Peter Schmeichel. He's up there with all those great goalkeepers. Never played in an international championship. You look at people like Kevin Radcliffe, who was a rock at the back for Wales in the 80s. Never played in an international championship. You look at more modern players. Ryan Giggs, one of the greatest players ever to play in the Premier League, has won, is this 20 or 30 honours for Manchester United? Won the Premier League. I haven't got enough fingers and toes to count. He's won everything in football that you can possibly win, Ryan Giggs. Never played in an international championship. And this has been a regular occurrence. We've produced the talent over the years. It's just never come to something when we've had it all together. But Chris Coleman has done a fantastic job. He's brought the team together. He's galvanised the nation. And we have a fantastic team. And I couldn't be more proud. I'm just laying on all the praises right now. It's just... it's been surreal. It's been a fantastic experience for everybody that's a fan of Welsh football. Because we are a small nation. We've got two very good club teams. One of them Swansea City that are playing in the Premier League. One of them Cardiff City, which are currently in the Championship. We've got a couple of smaller teams like Newport County and Wrexham that are playing in the lower divisions. But apart from that, we got all the English clubs who are fantastic to watch. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the Premier League. But it's nice to have Welsh football on the rise. The fact that we got teams that up there sort of competing in the Championship and the Premier League. We had the two of them were in the Premier League a couple of seasons ago. We've got the Welsh national team doing well. We've actually moved up to 8th in the world. We're now the 8th. I mean, okay, the FIFA World Rankings, you can take a lot of that with a pinch of salt. But the fact that we've climbed it and gone this great run of form and beaten teams like Belgium, who were second in the world. Bear in mind, Wales 5 years ago was something like 117th in the world. To go from that kind of end of the scale all the way up to 8th in the world, above England of all people, is absolutely bizarre. We were above Brazil at one stage. We were above Spain, in Italy, and France. It's bizarre, but that's just the way it's been. We've had such good form. We've beaten teams ranked above us, and we've just climbed above them. And you can argue that our group wasn't perhaps the hardest, but I challenge people that have that opinion, because it's been a difficult group. Andorra, okay, they're the whipping boys of the group. They're one of the worst teams in world football. They're a tiny nation, which is about half the size of Cardiff. Yet, we went 1-0 down away to them in the first game, and we had to fight back. And they've got that AstroTurf pitch, which is hard to play on. You've got Israel, which is never an easy game, especially away from home. They're a difficult team to play. They shut up shop at Cardiff when they played us. They just put everybody behind the ball and said, "Come at me, bro," and we couldn't break them down. You've got Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm not sure if it's Herzegovina or Herzegovina, because I've heard it pronounced both ways. But Bosnia, they're a difficult team. They've got world-class talent in their team. They've got Asmir Begovic, one of the best goalkeepers arguably in the Premier League. Certainly the best number 2 goalkeeper in the Premier League. You've got Edin Dzeko, one of the best centre-forwards in my opinion in world football as far as sort of physical strength and heading the ball. And Roma have bought a good player with Edin Dzeko playing for them. They've got that Roman midfielder Pjanic in midfield, a nifty little attacking midfielder that can work the space and can find a pass. Very tricky to play against. They've got a good team, Bosnia. Yet we lost 2-0 to them in our only defeat in the group. But we were able to get a draw with them at home, and we got a point from that game. We've got Belgium, who were second in the world when we beat them, and that's one of the reasons why we jumped up so high in the world rankings. Belgium, who have Thibaut Courtois, who have Jan Vertonghen, Vincent Kompany, Kevin De Bruyne, Marouane Fellaini, Edin Dzeko, Romelu Lukaku, Christian Benteke. I'm just listing names right now. These are all world-class talent, players that are worth 20-30 million in transfer fees alone, But we beat them. We drew with them away from home, which is a fantastic result. And we went even better by beating them at home. We've got Cyprus, who were a tricky team, who've actually improved a hell of a lot since we last played them as well. I mean, we've lost to Cyprus a few years ago, but they're a much better team now than the team that beat us when we lost them. So it's a difficult group that we've qualified from. And, it says a lot about our character, the fact that we've come back from some of these games, like the Andorra game at the start, the games against Belgium, the fact that we dug in deep in some of these games and did well. The Cyprus game at home, we won that game 2-1. But we had to dig in deep and play with 10 men for most of the game because we had Andy King sent off. So yeah, it says about our team spirit, our work ethic, and the way we've played. So yeah, I just want to say I'm so proud of the team, of Chris Coleman and all the players who have represented Wales in the qualifiers. And I can't wait till next summer. I'm going to be glued to the TV. If not, I'm going to be in France probably. I'm just going to turn up there one day. Hey, I'm here. We finally made it. Do some vlogging in Paris. That'd be quite cool, wouldn't it, guys? I also want to take this opportunity to mention the other home nations as well, because I think it'd be a bit selfish of me as a Welsh YouTuber to just talk about Wales. I am British at the end of the day, and I also want to talk about the other nations. So England, they've done well. They've qualified. I do watch pretty much all the home nations games anyway. I'm a massive football fan, so I watch all the games. They've done well, England. They were in a fairly easy group, to be fair. Only really Switzerland with a difficult team, and they beat them in the first game away from home. So once they got that game out of the way, it's been pretty straightforward all the way through. And they've got a 100% win record now in the whole group. They've won all the games. You look at sort of Northern Ireland, who've also done a fantastic thing. Northern Ireland, same as us, never played in the European Championships before. Haven't played in any major tournament since I think it was 1986 when they had Norman Whiteside and Jerry Armstrong playing for them. So Northern Ireland, congratulations to you boys as well. You've done fantastic, and you're going to be in France, same as us. So we've got England, Wales, and Northern Ireland all qualifying for the same tournament, which is fantastic for British football. Scotland have been really unlucky, unfortunately. I think that game against Georgia, where they lost, has cost them and really shot them in the foot, because even though Germany and Poland were I wouldn't say nailed on, but they were expecting to get first and second spot, and it was expecting to be Republic of Ireland and Scotland competing for that playoff spot. But that defeat to Georgia has really done it for them, and unfortunately then it was an uphill task. They couldn't get what they needed in the remaining fixtures, and they've unfortunately failed this time, which they could feel hard done by, especially that Poland game where the ball came off was it Grant Hanley, bounced onto the post, trickled across the line, and then Lewandowski just sort of bundled it in, and that was the end of all Scottish hope. Otherwise they would have had a fantastic win against Poland and would have still been in with a chance, and that was the very last kick of the game as well. Really heartbreaking for them. I really feel for Scotland. And then finally, Republic of Ireland, you've done well to get a third playoff space in that group, that third spot. The playoffs are going to be tricky. I don't know who you're going to get yet. I think they're going to make the draw this weekend or this Friday, I think it's going to be. I really hope the best for Ireland, though. It'd be nice to have Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, England and Wales all there, just to get more British teams there, because as much as I love sort of watching British football, and I actually enjoy watching England as well, believe it or not, it does get a bit sickening when you're watching the same team over and over in these major championships from the British Isles, and I don't see the other nations qualify. I mean, the Republic of Ireland qualified for Euro 2012, which was great. Before that, they qualified in 2002 in the World Cup. Before that, and I know, and that's just Republic of Ireland. Like I said, with Northern Ireland and Wales, it's been a long time, and Scotland haven't qualified since 1998. So they're looking for their first major tournament. But it's great, great news for British football. I'm really proud, and I just can't wait now for France 2016. But anyway, guys, I'm going to end this little vlog here. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Dragonheart, the Prince of Wales. Until next time, goodbye.